Today we're doing some more listening practice. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Karen, and on my channel I help people learn English. I've got another listening practice for you today. Now this one is from Australia again because you guys want some more practice listening to the Australian accent. Now today's conversation is actually a continuation of the story from my last listening practice video. And today it's the bride and groom who's talking, and they've just got married. And the story is, just before the wedding, the best man actually didn't want the wedding to happen. So the groom had to go and find him and try to convince him to come back and attend the wedding. The bride and groom are the two people who are getting married. If you need to review that video, or if you haven't seen it yet, I'll put a link up here and also down in the description below to that video. Now, I chose today's conversation because they actually say a lot of interesting phrases that we can study. And they actually say a lot of things in this conversation. So I'm going to split this into two videos. And as per usual, I'm going to play the conversation 4 times, twice at the normal speed and another 2 times at a slightly slower speed. So I'd like you to write down what you hear, and then afterwards we can check your answer and study what they said in today's conversation. Okay, let's go.
Hey, I forgot to ask you, how'd your little hens party go?
Don't you know what happens on the hens night stays on the hens night? If we're being honest, I wasn't sure that today would happen.
Yeah, I was cutting it pretty close. Hey, I forgot to ask you, how'd your little hens party go?
Don't you know what happens on the hens night stays on the hens night? If we're being honest, I wasn't sure that today would happen.
Yeah, I was cutting it pretty close. Hey, I forgot to ask you, how'd your little hens party go?
Don't you know what happens on the hens night stays on the hens night? If we're being honest, I wasn't sure that today would happen.
Yeah, I was cutting it pretty close. Hey, I forgot to ask you, how'd your little hens party go?
Don't you know what happens on the hens night stays on the hens night? If we're being honest, I wasn't sure that today would happen.
Yeah, I was cutting it pretty close.
How was that? How much did you hear? Was this a difficult listening exercise? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to know. Okay, let's check your answer. Hey, I forgot to ask you, how'd your little hens party go? Don't you know what happens on the hens night stays on the hens night? If we're being honest, I wasn't sure that today would happen. Yeah, I was cutting it pretty close. Now let's study what they said in today's conversation. Firstly, hens party. Now this party goes by many names. Hen party, hen night, hen do, bachelorette party, and sometimes even a hen weekend. In Australia, we usually call it a hens party or a hens night. And this is basically just a party for the woman who's getting married. And usually only her female friends and the female members of her family are invited. Now the male version of this party, so the party for the man who's getting married, also has a few different names. So you will hear stag night, stag party, stag do, or bachelor party. In Australia though, we usually call it the bucks night. And like with the hens party, usually only the man's male friends or the male members of his family are invited. Now in the conversation, he asks her, how'd your little hens party go? Now the question, how did something go? This just means, how was it? So another example, maybe you just sat an exam. So I ask you, how did your exam go? So I'm just asking, how was your exam? Did you think it was easy? Hard? I'm just asking you how it was. Or maybe you just started a new job. How did your first day go? Did you meet new colleagues? Were you given anything interesting to do? So I'm just asking you, how was your first day? How did your first day go? So in the conversation, he was just asking her how her hen's party was. She then says, don't you know what happens on the hen's night stays on the hen's night? Now this is a rhetorical question, and a rhetorical question is a question that doesn't require an answer. Now, what happens on the hen's night stays on the hen's night. This is actually borrowed from an ad back from the early 2000s. An ad is just short for advertisement, or for those of you learning American English, advertisement. Now this ad from the early 2000s actually read, what happens here stays here. And they were advertising Las Vegas, which is a city in the United States where there are a lot of casinos and general entertainment. So this slogan, and a slogan is a short phrase that's easy to remember and is usually from ads. So this slogan soon became known as what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, or even simply just what happens in Vegas. And now the general meaning is when there's a group of people who travel somewhere, whatever happens on that trip shouldn't be discussed with other people. So basically it means that something should be kept secret. So in this conversation, she's basically telling him that she's not going to tell him. It's a secret. Then the tone in her voice changes. Now tone means how she uses her voice to show you how she's feeling. Before she was feeling happy. But then her tone changes. So now she's got this slightly more serious tone in her voice. So she's not joking anymore, things aren't funny anymore. So before she was joking around, she was saying how she wasn't going to tell him about the hen's party. But then her voice changes. So now you know that this part of the conversation is a little bit more serious. If we're being honest, and honest means telling the truth, if we're being honest, I wasn't sure that today would happen. Now, is what people say when they're thinking about what they want to say next. Now, is very common and people say it all the time. And in fact, I say it in my videos all the time, although I may edit them out. So you might not hear as many as I actually say. And then he says, yeah, I was cutting it pretty close. Now, yeah, this is an informal way of saying yes, and people say this all the time too. And I'm pretty sure I've said this a few times in my videos here as well. So here he says, yeah, I was cutting it pretty close. So what he says here is an idiom. The idiom is to cut it close, or to cut it fine, or to cut things fine. And it just means to give yourself very little time to do something. And in this conversation, what he's saying is that he gave himself very little time to bring the best man back to the wedding. So he could have missed the wedding. So he was cutting it fine or cutting it close. And he also uses pretty here as an adverb to describe how close he was. So he was cutting it pretty close. Now, pretty here is an informal way of saying quite. So he was just saying that he was cutting it quite close. So even in this very short conversation, there are a lot of things to learn. So I hope that you did learn a few things from today's video. So if you did find this video useful, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to get more videos like this one, please press the subscribe button and also the bell so that you'll know when I have a new video out for you. There's more to this conversation, so I will continue this in my next video. So in the meantime, keep practicing, stay safe out there, and I shall see you next time. Bye!